Just in case you missed last episode's recap, here's a recap. Okay, here's every important thing that happened in Star Wars V, The Empire Strikes Back. Just in case you can't tell by the entire meaning of all of this, there are spoilers. You're welcome. You get it. Yeah. So, the movie starts out with Luke here, but it's actually more like here. And he's all like, oh, I'm dying. And he's like, I gotta get my lightsaber. I gotta get my lightsaber. I gotta get my lightsaber. And then the abominable snowman dude is all like, I look like I'm from Rudolph. And so Luke is like, and he forces the lightsaber into his hand, and then he goes, and he it looks like he's cutting his legs off, but he's not. He's just cutting his legs free. I don't really get it, but whatever. And so then he's like out in the cold, and then because the other guy's like, oh yeah, gone now. So he's like, oh, it's so cold, and he's dying. And then it's like, oh wait, is that not the right movie? Okay. Han's there, and he saves him, and he doesn't save him necessarily yet. I didn't show that part yet. So then he's like, oh, kid, it's gonna smell a little. And he cuts the poor thing open, and then he's like, okay, Luke, have fun. And he shoves him inside the dead animal's body. And it's super gross. Except it's not actually that gross. It's just kind of like, ha! That's a good one. Anywho. So, next thing's next. Luke, right there, gets into his little snow speeder and fights the giant walking dudes. And here's his dude in the back. There's his dude in the back. He gets killed. And he's all like, pew, 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 pew. Actually, it's more like cables and trip 'em, and they get tripped. And I don't have any Lego figures of those guys, so you can just see him flying around, and then it crashes. And he's all like, oh yeah, I'm not dead, but that guy is. I'm not dead, but that guy is, because I didn't really care about him. And then he's all hearing in his head again. It's like, oh, Luke, go to the Dagobah system. Train with Master Yoda. And so he's like, okay, I'll do that. So then Luke flies his X-Wing fighter down to Dagobah, and he crashes it, and he's all like, wah, 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 I'm sad. I don't know why I make him so whiny, but... Oh! And then he loses his legs. Ah, I'm drowning! No, so he crashes his plane, and then Yoda is there, and he's like a complete wackadoo, and he's got no hands for some reason, but he actually does have hands. And he's all like, oh, save your plane, you must. And then he's like, I can't do it. And so he's like, I'll do it. And he lifts it out of the water. And then he's like, okay, train with me. And he's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And then they do handstands. When he's like doing a handstand and he's bouncing on his foot. And so then he's like, yeah, I'm a Jedi now. Well, all of that's going on. Leia, Han, Chewbacca, and C-3PO are all flying through space, dodging asteroids and the bad guys. And they're dodging, and then they land on an asteroid. And then they almost get eaten alive by the worm guy. And so then they're like, peace, and they fly away again. Okay, so eventually everybody ends up at Lando Calrissian's place, and all these guys are having a wonderful time, but not. And Luke and Darth Vader are also there. Darth Vader basically tries to take everybody, and he wants to freeze Luke in the carbonite, and so he's like, oh yeah, Han Solo, he can be the guinea pig, and we'll just try it out on him. And so then they take him, and he's all like, ugh. That was him getting frozen in the carbonite. And then Lando ends up taking all of them and being like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll rescue you from Darth Vader. While that's happening, Luke is gonna fight Darth Vader, and he's like, oh, you're such an evil person, you're so bad, and it's all ominous, and it's all spooky. They've got their lightsabers out, and they're fighting, and they're fighting. So then there's the big moment, and he's like, oh, what about your father? And Luke's like, you killed my father! He says, no, I am your father. Everyone says this all like, Luke, I am your father. But it's not. It's just like, no, I am your father. And then Luke's all like, ah! And then Vader's all like, and then Luke's all like, ah, my hand, and then he falls down the thing, and then Vader's all like, oh, well, whatever, he's dead. And so he falls, and he's falling, and he's falling, and he's sliding in the slippy slide, and then he's all like hanging by a thread on the needle thing outside in space. And then the Millennium Falcon comes, and they pick him up, and they save him, and then he gets a new hand that looks just like his old one magically. They're so good with technology these days. And then that's it. The movie's over. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that just so great?